Hello, and welcome to our podcast, Get It Off Your Chest, the funny side of breast cancer. I'm Estelle and I'm joined with my lovely co-host,
Andrea Moulding.
Andrea Moulding. Andrea Moulding, who I haven't seen in such a very long time, because even though out there in podcast land, you think we've still been doing it every 3 weeks. Well, we haven't. We had to do a big glut a couple of months ago because our lovely Andrea was out of action. And do you know why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. She finally got her new tits.
Yes. And Estelle's given me a little present, and my new nickname is Twinkle Tits.
Oh, yeah, we can explain why in a minute. So how are you, my darling?
Well, I am back to work this week. So, yeah, I've got rid of those horrendous white tights that they make you wear. That I kind of walk around in public and everyone looks at me rather strangely. They've gone in the bin. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm 100% back to normal, but yeah, I've got a new pair of boobs. They've given me a tummy tuck, so that was quite useful. A very, very strange tummy button, but we covered that in another episode.
But I've got to say, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen out there, I went all the way to Loughborough yesterday,
Yes,
a couple
I
of
was very
hours
honoured.
away from Titty Tower Studio, and yeah, I got a little flash of the new boobs, and they're
Yes.
not looking too bad at all.
It's my new party piece.
Yeah.
Only show it. I show it wherever I go.
You're going to be on that, what was that film that Demi Moore was on? Striptease. Yeah,
Yes.
she's gonna be striptease too.
Absolutely. I think it's a new career for me, definitely. Yeah, well, it was 9 hours. 9 hours 9 hours long, which was pretty good, and I was off my head most of the time on morphine and God knows what. And they kind of have these things around your legs that because blood flow is really important, that kind of blow up. You know, like armbands where you go swimming.
Yeah.
So they put them around your ankles. So I was off my head a bit, kind of midnight. And I could feel it kind of blowing up and going down. I'm like, oh, they've got that thing around my leg. And then I'd go, what's my dog doing on my legs? Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Hang on a minute. I'm in hospital. Where's Lexi lying on my legs? Then I'd realise it's like that all the time. And when I went into the operation, honestly, there was about 3 million people come in. I got there at 7:30, and I literally saw about 20 people. And every single person that sees you, they go, what is your name and date of birth? I said, I'm actually a little bit worried about you doing the surgery because you asked me what my name and date of birth was 2 minutes ago, and you don't seem to be able to remember. And now I'm going to go under the knife with you for 9 hours. So I get in there. And obviously you're there for 9 hours. So being a lady of a certain age, they give you a catheter. And they said to me, do you have any pants on? And I said, well, yes, I do. And they said, well, we'll have to remove them. The woman goes, what are they? Meaning, are they paper or material? And I said, oh, I think they're Marks and Spencer's.
I knew you were going to come up with some divvy answer.
And they all cracked up. It was so funny. Anyway, the next morning, obviously after 9 hours, you're in recovery, and then they wheel you into your own room.
Hang on. Did you get your Marks and Spencer's drawers back? Or did they whip you off and you never saw them again?
I saw them again, to be honest.
Do you know what's going to happen? You're going to end up with gut rot in about 2 months' time. You're going to go in, they'll have to give you an x-ray, and there'll be a big pair of knickers on your x-ray swimming around in one of your boobs.
Could happen. But the first day I was there, you have what's it called? A cannula hanging out your hand.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I'm in my own room, which, NHS, I was pretty like, oh my God, I've got my own room. It's marvellous. And I've got my own telly. I haven't got an ensuite bathroom, but, I wasn't going to complain. So I'm lying there, and my cannula comes out my hand. But I didn't realise it was a cannula. I was off my head on morphine. I thought it was my stomach because they cut your stomach. I thought it was my stomach bleeding. There was blood all over the bed. Blood everywhere. And this bloke had come in to take my blood pressure, and he'd put the cord, the one that you press, he'd put it on top of the machine. I couldn't reach it, blood going everywhere. So I started bellowing, like really shouting. Like, no, okay. So anyway, I'm covered in blood, and it's all very scary. So I thought, right, I've bellowed, I've shouted, and no one's come. So I called Patrick on the
Do you still
mobile.
think this is your stomach, by the way?
Oh yeah, I was
Oh, you
completely off
think
my
you're
head.
like John Hurt in Alien with all this blood all like pissing all over the bloody room? Go on.
Exactly.
Not realising it's just at the back of your hand.
It's just the back of my hand. So anyway, like a big drama queen, he's like panicking, rings up the ward and goes, "Oh, Andrea's in distress. She needs someone to come in." So all these people come piling in, and the nurse goes, "Yeah, your catheter's come. Yeah, not your catheter. Your
Cannula.
cannula."
Oh, you must have felt a
Like,
right tit. Literally, you felt a right tit.
I did.
A nice new one.
Piss out of me like for weeks. Yeah, so I got home and got treated like a little princess for 5 weeks. But now, right, you've got 6 weeks. Get back
So
on
you're
the
back to
day
work
job.
now.
But I do have I am now called Twinkle Tits.
Twinkle
I've
tits.
got my beautiful picture that you made me, Estelle, and yeah, onwards and upwards.
She's got a body just in time for the new Barbie movie.
Yes, I have.
Was it what gas was it? Was it Kerry? Kerry
Yeah.
who said about yeah, I've got tits like Barbie.
Yeah, no nipples.
Just scars and no nipples.
Yeah, but no, I do like my new name, Twinkle Tits.
Good.
When you have a surname like Moulding.
Yeah, we need to add a little bit of dazzle on it then, don't we? Well, it's great to have you back. It really, really.
Thank you.
And yeah, and she's looking fabulous, ladies and gentlemen. I'm quite jealous of her new tits because they're bigger than mine. So
Yes,
there you
we
go.
did compare them yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We were walking around a lounge in Loughborough. That's all I can say. A lounge in Loughborough, swinging our tits, going, "Look at mine! Look at mine!"
Yeah, making comparisons.
Yeah.
And mine are a newer model.
Yeah, mine are a little old now. I think I might need to trade mine up, to be honest with you.
You've got the retro version there.
Mine are vintage.
Vintage, yeah.
Yeah, I've got G-Plan tits.
Well, they're in style at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, fab. Well, on today's show, we've got a fabulous guest. Her name is Jessica Baladad. She's from Nashville. Well, we're not sure if she's from Nashville or Chicago, so we're going to ask her when she comes on the show. So yeah,
fabulous guest.
Yeah, we're looking forward to talking to her. So hopefully you will enjoy her, and I think that's her plane just landing now. So we're going to welcome her to the studio. Go, Jessica.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we are already starting off laughing right now because I know we're going to have a really great time in this episode.
Good.
Yes,
so you're based in Chicago?
I'm in Nashville, but we call it Chicago time sometimes because that's the main city that follows the central time zones.
Is Nashville, is that the heart of all like country and western music, or am I being a bit?
It is. It's the home of country music. We actually call it Music City, USA.
There you go. Wow. Well, I'd like to tell everybody that's listening that Jessica is not sat here now with a check shirt on. She's got a gorgeous t-shirt on with the words on, "Actually I Can." She was just saying before the show started that she actually made the t-shirt. Would you just like to tell the viewers why you made it?
In so many areas, cancer tries to tell you that you can't. And I remember at the beginning of my diagnosis, it was like everyone treated me like a porcelain doll. You can't do this. You can't eat that. You can't do this anymore. This is going to change. And then my thoughts were like, actually, I can. Mm-hmm. And it's just been a mantra that I've taken on throughout my cancer journey. People want to treat you differently because they're scared of cancer, but actually I can survive. You know, that's how I like to think.
Our podcast is actually rooted in the "actually I can," which was from people saying that we couldn't laugh about cancer. And we were basically saying, actually, you know, we can, I can, you can. If you're not comfortable with it, then that's your problem. But from our side of the fence, we have to laugh about it. That's the way we see it. So yeah, so our podcast is born from that, isn't it, Andrea?
It certainly is, yeah. I mean,
how we like.
I think the first time I met Estelle, kind of over a bottle of wine. Yeah, we didn't know each other very well, but it wasn't long before we were telling each other kind of really inappropriate stories. And we thought, well, we can't be the only ones. There's plenty of people out there with hilarious stories.
That's awesome.
Tell us a little about your cancer, when you had it, and what your treatment was.
Sure. I was diagnosed 5 years ago, so I am up here on my 5-year cancerversary. I found, yeah. Yeah.
Same as me, actually.
Yeah, awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
I was doing a self-exam in the shower. It's a routine I had been doing since I was 18 years old. So fast forward 15 years later, I'm in the shower doing a self-exam and I stumbled upon a lump. As it turns out, being 33 years old at the time, they thought I was too young to have had a cancerous tumor. So they didn't bring it to my attention, but thankfully I found it and I eventually got the proper diagnosis. I went through 16 rounds of chemotherapy, 24 rounds of radiation. I had a double mastectomy, went through a prophylactic hysterectomy, and had a 10-hour deep flap reconstruction. And I've come out of it better than cancer. And I'm using my story to empower other women to do self-exams, get screened, and advocate for their breast health.
Well, Estelle does this thing called Tickle Your Tits, which is about, she has no shame, where, well, you can talk about it, Estelle.
Yeah, it's basically, it's just getting that message out all the time about you need to start checking your breasts young. But yeah, I'm always banging on about it. But yeah, my thing is #tickle your tits.
I love that. So awesome.
It's just very briefly, because obviously we'll give you an opportunity to kind of tell our listeners at the end all about your app. But very briefly, I actually signed up for it today. Do you want to just quickly tell everyone what it is and how it works?
Sure. Well, Fuel for Your Life was born out of my chemo treatment. I found that women were not doing self-exams because no one had taught them. Women were uncomfortable with their bodies, or they didn't know what to do if they found something, because women are so focused on taking care of everyone else and putting themselves last. So I created an app during the pandemic when women were missing their screenings to show women how to do a self-exam. The app allows you to track and monitor your changes and your progress and set monthly reminders so that you don't forget.
Oh, that's
it's excellent.
Isn't that incredible?
It is incredible. And it's really it's very simple, but very powerful. I downloaded it today and I'm going to start using it regularly and spread the word.
Love it. It's called Fuel for Your Life. I use the phrase all the time. So but yeah, it's called Fuel for Your Life and it's in the App Store and Google Play Store.
Yeah, Estelle's would be called Tickle Your Tits, wouldn't it? Tickle Your Tits app.
Maybe I could do a UK version if you tell me you built your app, and I'll do a UK version.
The UK version can be called Tickle Your Tits.
Yeah.
Fuel for Your Life started as a social media project, and then I wanted to get the word out about self-exams since, again, women miss their screening. So yeah, I tell people to search #breast-cancer on Instagram. I said, you're not going to find like your mom and your aunties and your grandmother on there. You're going to find people who look like you on Instagram with breast cancer. Yeah. And so I'm grateful for movements like that encourage women to talk about it and speak openly about it and bring it to the attention of younger audiences, not to scare them, but hey, take care of yourself, because you're not immortal.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Anyway, back to the show. So tell us some funny moments in the past. I particularly like the one about the garage, your gas station as you call it.
Yeah. That's my favorite one as well.
It was after my chemo treatment and I was thirsty, a little bit hungry. I looked like a zombie. I had just gotten off what we call, the Ativan, because, pre-meds are your Ativan and Benadryl, and it just really messes you up, right? Yeah. So I was walking in, like a zombie. I had, my beanie on. I didn't try to go out in public with no hair too much. But I ran into the gas station. My husband was putting gas in the car and I'm standing in line, and I live in a very Christian evangelical part of the South. Now, I am a person of faith, but my faith is more introverted in my faith. I am not super churchy, like in your
Yeah.
face with it. But this woman, we have many women or people like this in the South. She is standing behind me in line. And I mean, I just look like a cancer patient. So she knew, and I could hear her like whispering prayers and like saying things over me and just like
Yeah.
praying over me. And it's one thing if someone asks if they can pray with me, that is one thing. But when I've not even like been introduced to you, or you're just, I don't know, like someone just wanted to speak God's word into me in a very awkward way. Well, I'm like, I have to pay for my stuff, right? I can't just leave. So I'm standing in line, and this woman is just like getting louder and louder and louder, and I'm just like, amen, amen. I'm just kind of saying that, like and I'm like, amen, try to cut her off, but no, I get to the counter, and I think I don't remember something for my husband, like chips or something, and then I had a water. And so I threw it on the counter. Dude is ringing it up, and the total comes out to $6.66.
The
And
number of the beast. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and this woman just falls to her knees. And I believe Protestants call it speaking in tongues. And I just like, I had a $5 bill with me. I put my water away and said, here, and just left. And I just wanted to get out of there. Pretty sure I was owed change back. Did not care. Did not get my water. I was just like, whatever, and just left.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah, I probably
Oh.
like that woman probably needed water more than I did. in
I
that
know,
moment.
yeah. After all the screaming and hollering and carrying on, no doubt. And
surprised
she
she
Yeah.
didn't anoint you with it.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure. I didn't turn around to look back. Yeah, I guess people just kind of have seen me as a charity case to some degree,
for
and
God's sake.
weird things like
She
that.
went the extra mile, didn't
Hello, yeah.
she?
Can you
Yeah.
imagine if you turned your head really slowly after the fella rang up the
Oh my
666?
gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's what I'd have done. Dead straight faced and just stared at her. And said my favourite number. Oh, well, that's hilarious. I absolutely
That's
adore
brilliant.
that story. Really, really do. What was the other one that you were telling us about? Yeah,
Oh,
so
you had a
you,
friend, didn't you? I think.
yeah,
In your early 30s, your peers are they're either uncomfortable or just really confused with the fact that you have cancer, because you remind them of their mortality and they can't handle the reality of yours. So understandably, there was, the cancer ghosting. Some people just avoided me and could not even, with me. And then I had some friends who were genuinely curious, ignorantly curious. Like a very good friend of mine, bless her heart, as we say here in the South. Bless her heart. I was checking out at another store actually when I received this text message from a friend, and she's like, how are you doing and how's everything going? I'm like, I'm doing all right. And she's like, do you ever just touch it? And I'm like, well, now that I know what it is and it's being treated, I really try not to touch it. I don't want to think about it. I just, I'm going through chemotherapy. It's being taken care of. And she's like, well, it's probably a good idea that you don't touch it because you don't want it to spread. And that's
it was like a pat of butter in there or something.
like it was like a rash, like it was some sort of contagious rash or something. And that's when I really knew I needed to teach women about their breast health.
Yeah, or a new
Oh.
friend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is anybody in your circle who has seen your story, seen your journey, have they found anything and you've had a positive effect on them with it?
I have a friend out in California who is a breast cancer survivor, and she was actually learning how to do self-exams after her cancer battle. She had a lumpectomy and radiation treatment, I believe, and she started doing self-exams after her treatment, and she found a lump, went to the doctor, was able to show him inside the app where she had been tracking her self-exams, and she was like, this lump wasn't here during month 1, but I'm fine to get, month 4. And it turned out to be an early stage reoccurrence. And thankfully, she's in treatment now and has a really positive outlook, even with a reoccurrence right now. So I'd like to think that my app may have made a little bit of a difference.
Oh, God,
Made
it's
a
made a
massive
huge
difference.
difference.
Yeah. And kudos to you. Amazing. Really good.
Does it give you a buzz?
I mean, it keeps me motivated to keep going and doing what I'm doing, especially in, the provider communities as well. There are resources in the app that talk to you about how to have the conversation with your doctor about surgeries and hormone therapies and the prophylactic surgeries. And I actually have a handful of women who have started that conversation with their medical providers. And I have someone in my family who actually went forward with a prophylactic bilateral mastectomy and a hysterectomy to eliminate, as much risk as she could of cancer.
It's
I think what you've done has been incredibly brave. You've been through the mill because you are a young woman and you have had a double mastectomy and the hysterectomy. That's an awful lot to go through at your age. It really is.
Yeah. Just the things that I've witnessed in my family, I knew that, I was going to finish the battle that started with them. Like, cancer ran in my family until it ran into me. And so I finished it.
I like that.
So lovely to meet you, and thank you so much for coming.
It's been
thank you
great.
so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And your app again is called?
It's called Feel for Your Life.
Feel for Your Life. We're going to put a link on all our socials so you can see it, download it, start using it straight away. Don't be thinking you can do it in a couple of months. Do it now. Isn't that right, Jessica?
Absolutely.
You're a big bully like me, aren't you?
And share it with everyone you know.
And share it. It's right. Well, you've been a wonderful guest. So we'll see you off all the way to Nashville. And thank you for coming on the show.
Have a great day.
Bye.
And you. See you. So that was Jessica Baladad, and we eventually found out she was in Nashville. We've now come to the end of the show. So thank you very much for listening. And as always, spread the word, subscribe. And if you've got any stories, get in touch.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, and you can email us at stories@tittytowers.com. Thank you for joining us today, and goodbye.
Goodbye. See you soon.